בפיך ובלבבך לך הסודות יקרו אליך דבר מאוד בפי ובלבבך Shabbos, everybody. We invite you to find your seats. Shabbos with Moshe. Shabbos. Coming in out of the cold. Inviting your dear friends to sit and to prepare to pray with us. בפיך ובלבבך לעשותו Shabbos, everybody. Good Shabbos. You ready? I'm waiting for all of you. I'm waiting for you to be ready. You ready? Ready. You have your water for the journey? Your coats are off? Ready to start praying? When do you start praying? What does that even mean? You start praying. So Romemu is now, I don't know, almost 18 years old, older teenager, ready to go off to college. And from the beginning, in this community, and others like it, but certainly in this one, I wanted to emphasize that in the rabbinic tradition, prayer is avodah. And avodah, what's avodah? Work. They didn't mean it like that, right? It wasn't like you punched in and he punched out. But they meant it like the work of prayer is not falling asleep. It isn't like easy listening, like you turn on Light FM. It's work, meaning that when you come to shul, when you come into a community, each one of us is dependent on the other person sitting in front of us, behind us, to the right, to the left, for the quality of the service. It's not the rabbis, the clergy, the cantor. Like, we're in this together. So when you're distracted, we're distracted. When you lean into your friend and say, oh, I like that melody, I don't like that melody, the running commentary on services, we're all listening, all of us. Once we're in the prayer space together, we're in it together. And so to be in it together means that if you don't know the words, don't say the words. Close your eyes and pray to God in your own silence, your own connection. Let me tell you Torah, okay? You want to hear a Torah? From Moshe Leib of Sasav, one of the great Hasidic masters. Moshe Leib of Sasav, the Sasav Rebbe, on this week's Torah portion, on the wisdom of this week, Moshe Leib of Sasav says that it says in the Torah, which we'll get to much later on, that Moshe was in that little basket, and the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash by the Nile River. V'hinei na'ar bocheh, and behold, it was a crying child. And so the Sasav Rebbe said, what is the Torah teaching us when it tells us that Moshe was crying? Is that like an important piece of the narrative? And he says, yeah. There's something about a crying child that we can learn in our work in prayer. He writes that a baby never sits still. Its tiny hands are always reaching, exploring, and engaging with the world. As we prepare, he writes, to step into davening, into prayer, we need to remember that even in moments of rest like Shabbat, our souls are meant to reach out to God, to Spirit, to love, to our neighbors, like the hands of a child reaching for something just beyond their grasp. And then he says that there's a power in crying. A baby understands something that we often forget. Transformation comes through honest, vulnerable expression. That itself is a prayer. We say to God, please help me be vulnerable tonight. Express myself honestly the way that a child might. And lastly, he writes that when a baby's needs are met, when she has her needs, she can then be filled with laughter right away. V'hinei na'ar bocheh, behold, a baby was crying. And so we welcome each and every one of you into this sacred space where all of us are holding one another in sacred community, in the silence and in the words. Hineni mukhan u'muzuman, behold, we are ready to participate in a yearning for the divine. We find the words to Shalom Aleichem on page 6 as we welcome angels of Shabbat.
Shalom Aleichem.
הקדוש ברוך הוא בואכם לשלום מלאכי
השלום מלאכי עליון
מי מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ברכוני לשלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי
עליון
מי מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא צאתכם לשלום מלאכי
השלום
מלאכי
עליון
או מי מלך מלכי המלכים
הקדוש
הקדוש ברוך הוא הקדוש ברוך הוא הקדוש ברוך הוא On page 8, we enter into Shabbat's image of a sukkah of shalom, of kind of a hut that is for peace, or some kind of shelter of peace. And now all of our hearts are, I know, inclined towards the very, 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 very exciting, very, very hope-filled dream of having the hostages released. And the fragility of this moment is not lost, I think, in any one of us as we pray. And pray for their release and for their return and for the return of all of the hostages, an end to all of the violence, and a return to a place of peace, peace building, and healing. Higalena, reveal please your presence at this moment that might be a loving embrace for those families and for all of those who are waiting on this Shabbat of anticipation and the fulfillment of months and months of prayer and hope. On page 8, everybody, towards the bottom of the page. Higalena.
Higale, gale, gale, na. Ufos,
ufos chavimi alai. Shelter of peace, your peace, your peace. Shalom So as we close our eyes for just a couple of seconds, inviting you to sit in your chair. And as we breathe in together and hear a child's voice in the sanctuary. The beauty of the joy of Shabbat, of being able to drop in and to say, L'chun Ranana, let's go sing a song to spirit and to joy and to connection and to aliveness. You can find the words to Psalm 95 on page 9 and 10. With songs of praise, we'll celebrate the infinite. A great guide more than all forms, we imagine God's hand firms earth's edges. Molds mountain peaks, makes sea shapes land. Come, let us bow in awe and say our blessings before the breath that made us. For here is our God, the Spirit of love. And we are the shepherd's flock. If only we heard God's loving voice, don't close your heart. As you once did in that fearful wilderness, in the place where your ancestors tested and saw my mysteries. Towards the bottom of page 10. Arba'im shana akot bedoch. That's so beautiful. Keep singing. Va'or ametoe levavhem vehem lo yadu derachai asher nishbati v'yavik im yevaun el menuchasi. As we turn the page, 11 and 12, Psalm 96. Hilul Adonai, Shir Chadash, Hilul Adonai kol haaretz, Hilul Adonai baruch shemo, basrum meyom leyom yeshuato, sabnu agoyim keveoto, vekol ha'amim nitlo, higadol ato, umul alme. Kol Elohei ha'amim elilim, Adonai shomayim asah. Please rise. As we turn in the Siddur to find Psalm 29 on page 19 and 20. This psalm is the sixth day of the week. All of Kabbalat Shabbat is bringing the week with us into Shabbat. And the sixth day, today, has all of the energy of all of these God names, all of the voices, all of the sounds, all of the truth of the sixth day of the week. Mizmor David, Mizmor David, Mizmor David. So as we're standing together, let's just stand with feet under shoulders. So bring your feet under your shoulders, just relax. Drop your chin really gently and feel as if someone's pulling you from the top of your head, holding your head floating above your spine as you let your shoulders come up to your ears, and then just release them. One more time. And now gently bend your knees and let your weight go into the floor, holding you. And whenever you're ready and feel comfortable, please be seated at your own pace. No. Yes. No. On page 21 and 22, Anna Bekoach. ידעו לדים לך תתיר צרוע קבל בינת עמך, סגדנו תחרנו נורא. Na gibor doshei chudecha kevavat shamrein. Those who seek your unity, God, guard them as the apple of your eye. Bachem taharein rachamei tzidkatcha tamid gamlein. Chasin kadosh berov tuvecha nahil adatecha. Towards the bottom of page 21 and 22, where it says singular and lofty, turn to this people, chanting of your holiness. Another way of reading that is turn to those who long to remember. Face us. Every face has a trace. Every face has a trace of God's love. Every face, our teacher said, has a hidden aleph, the hidden first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, representing one. It's such a good thing, by the way, that the sounds of the city come in here, you know. The Talmud teaches us that we should always pray in a synagogue that has windows. And Rav Kook wrote that because our prayers can't be only in this room, they have to go out and come in and go out and come in. So there was a man who was a seeker who went around the world looking for wisdom. And he heard about a great Kabbalist, a great mystic in Jerusalem. And so he made his way to Jerusalem. And he came into a room packed with devotees, all of them fervently, listening to the great words of the mystic. And they noticed this guest in the back. And someone asked him what he was there for, and so they pushed him towards the front, and he came towards the front. And he said humbly, I've been seeking wisdom, and I was told to come to receive wisdom from the great Kabbalist, Your Honor. And the teacher looked at him and didn't say a word. And so he spoke up and said, I've come to receive wisdom. He said, came to receive wisdom. And so he had an apple on his desk, and he picked up the apple, and he reached it towards the guest. And the guest started running, and he reached for it, and all the students said, "Oh." And so he pulled his hand back, and this happened again and again, 3 times. And perplexed and feeling very frustrated and almost on the verge of tears, the seeker looked to the students who, with great compassion in their eyes and hearts, looked towards the seeker and made this gesture. If you came to receive wisdom, you have to make a vessel to receive it. It's amazing that the sages imagined Shabbat as a Kabbalah, as a receiving. To receive Shabbat. Shabbat is here, the sages say, and that we have a vessel that can hold it. When we make room for Shabbat, Shabbat makes room in us. And so we receive Shabbat together on page 23 and 24. Lecha dodi, come beloved, likrat kala, to receive the beloved, the face of Shabbat, nikabla. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, as we face the door. Oh, everything happens at the door. Eliyahu Hanavi, Elijah the prophet, is always at the door. Boi b'shalom, ateres bala, gam b'simeh, u'metzahala, toch emunei, am segula, boi, Shabbat hamalech. Imagine for a moment. Imagine standing at the door. not seen your brother, your sister, your father, your mother, your grandmother, your grandfather. 469 days, 470 days, 471, you don't know what's going to be. Vayafag libo, and Jacob's heart skipped a beat. Joseph is still alive. Joseph is still alive. So we welcome them. All of Am Yisrael, all of Klal Yisrael, all of the Jewish people. I say to them, beloveds, we can't wait for you to walk through the door. Lechandoti likrat karala b'nei Shabbat nekabel lechandoti likrat karala b'nei Shabbat nekabel dinilai lai la la lai dinilai lai la la lai dinilai lai la la lai dinilai yama mai ma dinilai lai la la lai yama mai mai ma ma mai lai la la lai la inna yana na na. And bless the source of life with releasing those who are bound. And we pray for the return of all the hostages at this moment as we pray. Blessed are you, source of life, who releases the bound. Matir Asurim. Invite all of you to please turn to face the front of the room, and please remain standing as we welcome mourners and those in need of healing this evening. Specifically calling out Mary Beth, who's here with us tonight, who lost her beloved husband last week. And other members of our community who are in mourning as well, and those who are in need of healing in body, in heart, mind, and spirit. Inviting you to turn to page 30 in the middle of the page as we pray for healing tonight. Anna elna refana la harot la no amziva az titchazek Ditzape v'ha'isavo simchat olam Ana elna
בהעלות לה נועם זיווח אז תתחזק ותתנבק והייתה לה שמחת עולם.
מי שברך אבותינו ואמותינו, may the one who blessed our ancestors, our mothers and fathers, bless all of those who need healing tonight in body, heart, mind, and spirit. We include their names and their presence and our love for them amongst all of those who need healing in this community. Even though it's Shabbat, we still call out, may there be a complete and speedy healing for them. And let us all say, Amen. Let's have a seat, everybody. Somebody lost a scarf during the dancing. It's yours? Okay, I'll give it to you. It's okay. That's a good dance. You lose your scarf. Do we have anybody here for the first time that would like to introduce ourselves? We have this custom. It was kind of, I don't know, when it started. Maybe in the beginning? I'm not sure. I was a waiter for so many years in restaurants, and I love that part of walking up to a table and saying hi, you know? It's the extrovert. So if you'd like to say hello, think about it. You'll stand up and give us your name and where you're from, if you feel comfortable. But I think we have a first-timer here. Speaking of crying babies.
And first time.
Shabbat Shalom.
And first-timers.
I'm Sarah. This is my husband Joshua. We met right here. And this is our baby Eleanor Rowan. We call her Nora. Shabbat Shalom. She's 2 months old.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Unbelievable. Amazing. What was that? What was that?
No.
Exactly.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll get there. We'll sing your song. Anybody else? Let's say hi. First time. Verse.
Hi, my name is Yisrael Yonatan, I'm a man of many names. I grew up in Bayonne, New Jersey. I've been here many years ago. It was like I just came back from Eretz Israel. I really thought with the situation, I would do whatever I can do to connect all the parts of me, and I would really have a wedding and Hirsch be there. And when he passed away, I felt like I do whatever I need to do. So that's why I'm here, because I connect a lot of Am Yisrael, a lot of Chashav rabbis, so-called Chashav rabbis, but I feel the most Chashav real rabbi I know is this rabbi over here. So
I'm happy you're here, brother.
So I'm just here, and I just wish everyone peace and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
It's good, brother. Okay, anybody else? Other people? We have a couple of communities that are here, so maybe I can out them.
Shabbat Shalom, nice to meet you. My name is Eyal. My friend Adi here from Israel just moved recently to New York.
Welcome.
איזה יופי. ברוכים הבאים, כאילו.
תודה.
לגור, כאילו לבקר, לגור. שליחות. אוקיי, וואלה, אתם שליחים for the סוכנות, כאילו? Which part of, where are you שליחים? Upper West Side?
מחליפים את גלי? לא.
אוקיי, Upper West Side. אוקיי, בסדר. יש כמה ישראלים פה.
יש פה כמה.
אתה גם שליח.
הייתי שליח פעם.
לא, אתה עדיין שליח.
Okay.
אתה עדיין שליח. You're still a שליח. Hi.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm Rachel Schindler, from New Jersey originally, and moved to the Upper West Side with my husband a few months ago. I've been meaning to want to try Romemu. I've heard wonderful things, so I'm happy to be here tonight. And my husband is his father's in the hospital, and so he had to go home. And this just felt like kind of the right night for me to come here. So thank you for welcoming here.
Of course. My friend, yeah. Moshe, you're not going to say anything, Moshe? Do you want me to introduce them or no? No, לא בא לך? Yeah? Okay, this is, Moshe, I want you to introduce yourself, because I want my community to meet you.
It's very nice to see my teacher again, and Moshe Rudin from Adat Shalom Synagogue. I brought some friends of mine,
In New Jersey.
in New Jersey, as Parsippany, New Jersey. And my wife was just elected to town council of West Orange, the town she grew up in. So she needs chizuk as well.
She needs some strength, yeah.
So,
Awesome.
so we're very, very happy to be back in Rome.
Okay. It's great to have you back with Moshe. And just so you know, your community was here really early. They're like, something, it's really good. They left early. They got here to be a part of it. Okay. Okay. We'll get to you in a second. Okay. You don't have to get up there, Beth. Okay.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
My
Shalom.
name is Mary Beth Yarrow, and we just finished sitting the 7 days of Shiva for my husband, Peter Yarrow. And Rabbi David was gracious and kind enough to come for 3 of the nights to say the Kaddish with us. And so this is my way of joining him in his prayer, and all of you. Bless you. Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom. Hi.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm Adrian. I'm originally from Argentina, but now I'm an American. So we're here with our book club, which is all of us coming from Connecticut. But the most important thing for me is we came in a special Shabbat, because you said we are in front of seeing them free. And what better than being in a synagogue on a day that we can pray for? We've been praying for 470 days and keep on praying for the 100 that need to be freed.
Amen. Amen. Okay.
Hi, I'm Phyllis Kushner. This is my actual second time in many years that I've been here. And I remembered my first service here with such joy that I brought my daughter, my granddaughter, and my sister with me. So I wanted them to be able to experience a service here. It's just such a special, special congregation. I live in Delaware now, so it's not easy for me to get here.
Right.
But I really appreciate this congregation and all the joy you bring and the service that you do. And thank you so much for welcoming us.
Of course. We're working on that connection between Delaware and the Upper West Side. So it's a project. We have a couple of brief announcements, everyone, and then we'll rise again for the evening prayers, followed by the word, the sermon tonight, and the mourner's Kaddish. In your newsletter, just so you have it to take with you, tomorrow evening is going to be quite a Havdalah. There's going to be quite a impactful, important Havdalah tomorrow night at the JCC of Manhattan with Cantor Smith at 7:30. It's a Havdalah for the hostages that's been going on now throughout the over a year since their abduction. And so I imagine tomorrow evening is going to be quite remarkable. Just to put onto your calendar, next Friday night, just to remember, is our January Shabbat dinners, so our monthly Shabbat dinners next Friday, the 24th. And a number of other important things are happening. Just to draw your attention to the Treatment Not Jail Advocacy Day that's also on your newsletter, as well as a number of opportunities in the community to do good service and to participate in learning. So all of that is on your newsletter. I just invite everybody to please rise. Take 2 minutes at this moment. Take 2 minutes to look around the room and inviting you for 3 minutes to find someone, wish them a Shabbat Shalom, and connect with them, and then we'll come back.
What's that? Yes. So, Adina, have you pray forums with Romemu before? No, not at all. The other way around. It's also that everyone seemed to know you. Like everyone's like, Adina's coming. I was like, Tina, it seems maybe familiar. I don't know if I know her. Okay. Okay. Gotcha. And sing along. Gotcha. Yeah. Right. Extra joy. Yeah. Yeah. You should join our community band again. You should come. What's that? Yeah. Not super long, but I moved to Manhattan in 2019, and so we poked in Romemu a couple times in that first year, and then there was the pandemic, and so we were sort of. But my kids have been Hebrew School Seekers program.
Is it too high?
That's great.
Okay, so start there. Shabbos, everybody, good Shabbos. We've been meeting in this shul church for 15 years, when no other space on the Upper West Side made themselves available to our ever-expanding community. We walked into the doors of the West End Presbyterian Church to meet a great Scot named Alistair Drummond, who was great and amazing and in love with interfaith work and with a brogue in the hole, and he was Alistair. And from that moment, we have called this space, for the most part, our space. But it underscores that no one owns holy space. We are all guests. And so when we welcome you to Romemu, we do so also as guests ourselves of the West End Presbyterian Church. And they themselves are guests of the great host, the one, the great spirit of love that brings Nora in, and children who will laugh and play and run and remind us of what it is to be uninhibited and unencumbered by concepts and by all kinds of sophisticated ways of just being alive. And so in the presence of that holiness, we are called to community, and by that we mean all of God's children, all of humanity. We are all guests together on this planet, on this dancing ball rotating, spinning all of us, and sometimes confusing us as to the true nature that we carry, each and every one of us. So all humans, sexual identity, gender identity, religious identity, political identities, all of them are true enough, but not ultimately true. What is ultimately true is that we owe one another an incredible debt of gratitude. We owe one another a recognition that transcends all of those labels, and especially on a weekend like this weekend, especially on the weekend that we commemorate a dream and a vision and a hope. One man and many, many, many who dreamed of a better world, of a more just world, a more sane world. On this weekend of all weekends, as we stand on the precipice of uncertainty, we double down on what we do know, which is Baruch Hu. Each and every one of us created in that image of love, each and every one of us. Unique, unrepeatable, irreducible, us, we, together. So let's join together in song on page 31 and 32, the call and the response of the one in all of us. Ai, dai, dai, da, dai. Didn't I. Didn't I. Oh, Et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai.
Every face, all the trace of love. You may be seated. We continue on page 33 and 34. Ruach at Shechina. Eloheinu ruach haolam asher bidvarav ma'ariv ha'aravim. We bless impermanence. You who change day to night and night to day. Ela chai v'kayemet. Tamid timloch aleinu li'olam v'en. Ruach at Shechina. Mariva Aravi La la On page 36, a love across space and time and soul. Have you loved us and taught us? Torah wisdom, mitzvot, right action, laws, traditions, statutes, and justice. And so as we sleep and as we awake, we contemplate your truths. We rejoice in Torah and in its sacred practice, always, for this is our life. The measure of our days we meditate on it day and night. This is a love eternal, a love supreme, that cannot be taken away. Avatcha al tasir mimenu li'olamim. Baruch ata Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael. Page 37 and 38, Shema. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. On page 39 and 40, V'yohavta eis Adonai Elohecha
בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך
והיו הדברים האלה
אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם
בשבנך בביתך
ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובממך
וקשרתם לעוז על ידיך
והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך
וכתבתם
על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך.
We continue on page 41 with the second paragraph of Shma'ing. Vayam Shema Lishmo Mitzvosai Asher Anochi Mitzvah Eschem Hayom. Guard yourselves lest your hearts be seduced and you turn and serve alienated gods and bow down to them, then the well of life will be wounded and will close up the sky so that there is no rain and the earth will yield no harvest and you will be lost from this good land that the well of life is giving you. Put these words on your hearts, on your souls, bind them as a sign upon your hand. Let them dangle between your eyes. Teach your children to speak of them when you sit at home, when you go on your journeys, and write them on the doorposts of your homes and on your gates, in order that your days and the days of your children may be long on the earth God promised to your ancestors. As long as the days of Page 43. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe le'mor daber el bnei Yisrael ve'amarta alehem ve'asu lachem mitzitzit ukavei b'neihem l'dorosam v'nosenu al tzitzis hakana b'sil decheles v'haya lachem l'tzitzis Oisem oso, uzichartem et kol mitzvos Adonai, vasisem osam, velo sasuru, acharei levavchem yacharei einechem, asher atem zonim achareihem, lema'an tizgeru, vasitem et kol mitzvotai, v'item kidoshim Elohechem, ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim,
להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. On page 47 and 48. Wow, it's so alive right now, this liberation song and this freedom song. Won't you help me sing this song of freedom? Imagine friends coming and seeing their family and friends released, like Moses and Miriam and the children of Israel who felt danger and with great joy said, now we're safe. But isn't this a prayer that's also a charge to make the world a safe place for all of the Norah, all of those little beautiful children? Until all children are safe, we have to keep singing in song and reminding ourselves that that's our responsibility. Mi chamocha. on page 48.
מי כמוך
מי כמוך
באלים אדוני,
האלים אדוני,
מי כמוך
מי כמוך
נדר בקודש,
נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה
מלכותך
מלכותך
ראו בניך,
ראו בניך
בוקי הים,
בוקע הים
לפני משה ומרים,
לפני משה ומרים ואני אנו אמרו
אנו ואמרו
אדוני לא לעולם חיים לה לה לה
אדוני את יעקב,
אדוני את יעקב,
וגאלו,
וגאלו,
ביד חזק ממנו, באו, אתה אדוני, גאל,
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu on page 49. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ברוך אתה אדוני, הבורא סוכת שלום עלינו, ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ועל ירושלים. Please rise for Vishamru on page 51 and 52. ישראל
את השבת,
לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. בידי ובין בני ישראל עוזרים לעולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמים ואת הארץ, וביום
השביעי
שבת
ינבא.
חצי קדיש on the Bible, page 52.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, נעמה דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכנו יומך וחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה בעגלה ובזמן קריב וימרו אמן. יש שמרה במברך לעלם לעלמי עלמיה יתברך.
וישתבח, ויתפאר, ויתרומם, ויתנשא, ויתהדר, ויתעלה, ויתהלל, שמי דקודשא לעילה. מן כל בחסה ושיר עשה, ראש בחסה ונחמס, נמירון בעולמה, אין לדוסי. As we stand together in silence, your own words or the words of the traditional silent whispered prayer on page 56.
כל העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד, כל העולם הוא גשר צר מאוד, כל העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד, כל העולם הוא גשר צר מאוד, כל העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד, כל העולם גשר צר, כל העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד, כל העולם גשר והעיקר לא לפחד, לא נפחד, לא לפחד, כל העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד, כל העולם העולם גשם סתם כל העולם כולו
The whole world is getting savage.
כל
The world of geshem.
והעיקר
Most important thing,
והעיקר
you know that fear,
לא לפחד כלל לא לפחד והעיקר לא לפחד כלל לא לפחד. As I walk along this very narrow bridge, I will not be afraid, knowing you are with me. As I walk along this very narrow bridge,
I will have no fear, knowing you are near.
והעיקר והעיקר לא לפחד כלל
לא לפחד.
והעיקר והעיקר לא לפחד כלל לא לפחד והעיקר והעיקר לא לפחד כלל לא לפחד והעיקר והעיקר לא לפחד כלל לא לפחד.
This week in the Torah, we move into a huge transition between the story of Yaakov, Jacob, and his family, and the transformation of Yaakov, Jacob, and his family, and the Shvatim, and the tribes, into Am Yisrael, into a people. And it begins in a way that is remarkable. In our comfort, our privilege of living in the land of Egypt, imperceptibly, we move from privilege and power to servitude. And it pivots in this verse, a verse that is impossible to ignore on this Shabbat of all Shabbatot. Vayaka melech hadash al Mitzrayim, asher lo yadat Yosef. A new king arose over Egypt who did not know Joseph. Even if, as a rabbi, I wanted to avoid the inauguration, here it is. A new king arises who wants to forget Joseph. The rabbis, understandably, have a field day with this. What does it mean that a new king arose? Is it literal? Really a new king? Seems to say in the verse that a new king arose. And so there are those in the school that say, no, it was a new king, just like it says in the verse. Simple, easy to read. And there are those who say that this new king was not a new king at all, but new policies, a new way. And that the forgetting of Joseph is not because he had never met him, but because he didn't want anyone to remember Joseph and what Joseph represented. And although I'm sure around the country and maybe even around the city, there are those who are using this as an opportunity to stoke both illegitimate and legitimate concerns that all of us should have at this moment. I'm sure there are plenty of sermons that you'll be able to listen to after Shabbat that are going to portend of horrible things immediately off the bat. And certainly, if there's any indication in the last couple of weeks, we have what to be nervous about. But I want to focus on heroes, because the Torah does. Even though the Torah will not name this particular leader, we don't know who the king was, and that's done on purpose in a book that is called Names. It leaves out a name. and in order to allow us to read history through this unnamed king. It could be any king, and there are a dime a dozen. But the first names given in the book of names to new characters, they hold a key, and so does another person in a moment, to the two ways I want us to walk out of this service and out of this weekend going forward. Shifra and Pua. Remarkable. The first named people in the book of names are the two midwives who are named Hebrew midwives. Miyaldot Ivriot, Shem Achat, Shifra, V'Shem Shenit Pua. Oh, do we know their names? They stand out from the crowd. Their anonymity is not present. They are Shemot. There's a name there. There's a Shifra and there's a Pua. And Shifra and Pua represent what everybody always says in any good email you need to have, which is a CTA, a call to action. Shifra and Pua represent an axis of resistance that has its way in finding a moral perch from which everything is measured. One is not partisan to any party. One is partisan in the text reading to God. They answer to a higher authority. They answer to a principle. They answer to integrity. And through their small acts that were quite risky and dangerous, defying Pharaoh's decree to kill all of the male-born children, Shifra and Pua stand for all of us forever as a reminder that revolutions happen in small moments, in moments where we remember our values, moments when we're called on the carpet, moments that sometimes are imperceptible but are nonetheless impactful. Shifra and Pua, the first two names in the book of names. Shifra and Pua. But here is the second moment of resistance, and it's going to come from an unlikely source. And in this person, so much respect for the Torah. The Torah now introduces us to another heroine, another remarkable woman, another conscientious objector, and in the most unlikely of places. The text will tell us in chapter 2, Vatered bat Paro, and the daughter of Pharaoh went down to rinse herself by the Nile, and her maidens are walking along the Nile with her. Vatera esateva betoch asuf, and she saw a little basket in the reeds. Vatishlach et amata vatikacheh, and she sent out her slave girl or her helper to go fetch the basket. What did she think was going to be in the basket? Like, who's in the basket? Who's sending children into the Nile? This is a smart woman. She knows what she's doing. Verse 6, Vatiftach, she opens it, Vatireu es hayeled, and she sees the child. V'hinei na'ar bocheh, and the child is crying. Remember we started that way tonight? With Moshe Leib of Sasav, the teachings about crying children. She saw a crying child, and then the Torah tells us, Vatachmol alav, and she had compassion for him. And she said out loud, Miyaldea ivrim zeh. Doesn't everybody know Miyaldea ivrim? This is a Hebrew child. Are Egyptians sending their babies down the Nile? The text wants us to know something. She could have said whatever she wanted to say. She could have said, it's an Egyptian child. It wouldn't have mattered. Do you think anybody there would have told on her? There would have been some scandal. The text wants us to know that this daughter of this genocidal leader, this daughter was moved. She was moved to name the child as a Jew at great personal risk, to defy her father's orders, and to also upend our own reading of the text. You want to know, this is called not a call to action, but a CTC, a call to care. And a call to care is not a Jewish call or a Palestinian call or an Israeli call or a non-Jewish call or a Christian call. It's a human call. And the very text which is the foundation of our own particularism, the text about the Jewish people and our slavery, has embedded within it our universalism and our unwillingness to lose hope in even the most hardened of people. We don't give up on humanity, even if humanity sometimes and often has given up on us. The call to care is a call, first and foremost, that is in perception. It's in a willingness to see the humanity in the other. It's a willingness to give them the benefit of the doubt, to let them move us. Vatachmol alav, chemla gedola. She has great compassion for this child. There's even a Hasidic teaching that says, why did it say that she saw him crying? It should have said she heard him crying. What does it mean that she saw him crying? And there's a Hasidic teaching from the Kotzker Rebbe that says because she had the ability to see him crying without him actually making a sound. Gesundheit. She could see him crying. She could see his humanity, and even that awakened in her. In the daughter of Hitler, in the daughter of Saddam Hussein, in the daughter of Yahya Sinwar, in the daughter of our enemy, in the daughter of whomever. That's right here. I'm not making it up. So here we are faced on this Shabbat of a new king who doesn't know Joseph. And the Torah will tell us in great detail about the imperceptible ways that our freedoms are taken from us and that we must be wary, we must be attuned. And it gives us two different models. A CT, a call to action, Shifra and Pua, small acts of resistance, small acts of remembering that you make a difference in your everyday life. It doesn't have to be big and grandiose, although it could be. But Shifra and Pua are remembered, and then this unnamed, remarkable heroine, the daughter of our enemy, who was so profoundly moved by the sight of this Hebrew child that she adopted him. And the Torah makes it all possible. A call to compassion, a call to care, a call to see. I was really blessed this past week, as Mary Beth said, to be 3 times in your home, in the home of someone who was known as Peter Yarrow, but his Hebrew name is Pesach. His Hebrew name was Pesach. If I had a hammer, the answers are blowing in the wind, all of the ways in which it's possible for us to both hold Shifra and Pua and the daughter of Pharaoh in our hearts, to be called to action, small, medium, and large, to make sure that we are vigilant and diligent, and also to walk out of shul and to look at someone with the daughter of Pharaoh's eyes. If anybody's ever heard the Hebrew name Batya or Basya, we actually, our second Chazan was Chazan Basya. That's the daughter of Pharaoh in the tradition. We'll talk about that tomorrow morning during our Torah study. That the Jewish folklore says that God said that you called my son Moses your son, I will call you my daughter. Batya means daughter of God. Batya, Basya in Ashkenazi pronunciation. She merited to become the daughter of the Holy One because she had Chemla. And not only that, the Midrash says that Moses had at least 10 names. But what's the only name that we called him by in the Torah? The name that was given to him by the daughter of Pharaoh, Moshe. God says, from now on, Moshe, the Redeemer, will be called by the name that you gave him, that you saw in him. If anybody wants to know one of the most radical teachings of the Torah, point them to these verses. That the Redeemer of the Jewish people grew up in the house of the enemy. That the Redeemer of the Jewish people might have learned a thing or two about compassion for all of humanity through his adopted mother. And then as we go forward into a world that we want to see, it doesn't mean naivete or innocence. It certainly does not mean passivism or blind ignorance and willful ignorance, but it means a return to an ocular compassion, a vision of compassion, eyes that are awake. Calls to action and calls to care. Both of those are available to us if we choose to see them. And how we will wield both of them will obviously require great wisdom. It is a narrow bridge. It certainly is. This living is narrow. Vayikar, but the essence is don't be afraid. Shifra and Pua, they weren't afraid. The daughter of Pharaoh, she wasn't afraid. It's going to take all of us to rise up. Please rise. On page 79, I think.
78.
78.
Close, very close.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל. לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית 13 גדולה ולא סמל לפני שלושה. In the middle of page 78. Please remain standing if you are in mourning. We lift up the names of these loved ones and these members of our community who are being remembered this evening. So as we move around the room, I invite you to say the names of those whom you are remembering. We invite everybody to please stay until the end of Kaddish, please. Yes.
My aunt who would be her birthday today.
Pesach ben Bernard. Yeah, Pesach, right? Pesach. Yes. Linda?
Friends, Emet, Yoka, and many others enjoying Mary Beth and saying Kaddish for the inimitable Peter.
Yes.
Dear friend Shammai Wolf and Chia Cohen.
My dear cousin Ezra, they finished Shabbat today in Israel.
Anyone else?
I want to call in the neshama of Dr. Abraham Yehoshua Heschel, in whose institution named after him I worked for 33 years
Yeah.
on this Shabbat.
Yeah.
My grandmother, Shifra, lead the Chava Yitzka.
Yeah, brother.
Shaw, today's her yard sale.
Anyone else? Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah. Anyone else? Please rise if it's your custom to stand for the mourners. You can find the mourners' Kaddish on page 115. Apologies to Mary Beth. We're going to go very, very quickly here as opposed to the way we did it at the Shiva. So we'll just find the words on page 115 and 116. And Jody, if you can help her too. Yitkadal ve'yitkadash shmei Rabbah v'yomad yivrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael v'agala b'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mivorach ve'alam le'omei almaya yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar v'yitromam ve'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudsha b'rechu Leila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran le'oma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama rabbah min shemaya chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mamav v'hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru Amen. Yeh zichram baruch, may their memory be a blessing. We invite everybody to please rise to join as we conclude our service tonight. Really, I want to thank the volunteers. I want to thank the Rabbi Moshe Rudin and his visitors who came from Adat Shalom. We want to thank the davening team and all the musicians and the staff and the West End staff and the security. Tomorrow morning, 8:45, next door Torah study. We'll be learning about Bat Paro, Batya. I just feel like singing Hatikva, but we're not going to. But I just feel like it, you know. It just felt like such a. I just want to hold it, you know. In my no, we can go on. We're gonna keep going forward. But it feels like I'm just hoping, and I know all of you are too. Got a text from Brother Josh, from a friend of ours who went to high school with us, who was like the head psychologist in Israel in the IDF for hostages in the aftercare, and basically talking about how hard a road this is going to be for the hostages, and like when we said yesterday at the end of Shiva, like when Shiva ends, that's where it really begins, right? That's where the work begins, and so the same thing here, like the release, God willing, will happen, and then there's the long road, but we're praying for them. On page 88, everyone, into this cup of blessing. Yom HaShishi, Vayichud Vashamay v'Aretz v'chol tzva'am, Vayichal Elohim Yom HaShivi Malachto Asher Asah, Vayishbos V'Yom HaShvi'i Mikol Malachto Asher Asah, Vayivarech Elohim Es Yom HaShvi'i Vayikadesh Oso, Ki Bo Shavas Mikol Malachto Sheber Elohim La'aso Savri Chavirai, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Borei Pri Hagafen, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Kirishanu B'Tzosav V'Ratzavanu V'Shabbat Kodsho B'Ava Uvratzon Inchilanu B'Zikaron Masei V'Reyeshis Ki Hu Yom Techila Lemikra Kodesh
זכר ליציאה מצרים.
Kivanu Achareta Ve'otanu Kidashta Mikol Amim Ve'Shabbat Kodshecha B'Ahava V'Ratzon Baruch Atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. Shabbos.
Shabbos.
Shalom. Aseh Shalom Aleichem.